Hi guys, my name's Jeff. Welcome to the channel. If you've been here before, then welcome back. Today I want to take a look at the FIRE movement and ask if it has some serious problems. There's been a lot of energy and enthusiasm and excitement for the FIRE movement. And in case you're not aware of what this is, it's the Financial Independence Retire Early, and it hit the scene a few years ago. I think it became really popular, and a lot of people were looking for ways that they could amass a lot of money so that they could retire when they're young and retire early. I think there are some problems with this movement. If you're part of it, if you're devoting your time in your life to doing this, then I think that that is fantastic. I just think that there's some things to think about for people who are maybe thinking of being on that track or trying to figure out how they can do it, that I think are worth asking before you dive in. Now, the first thing I wanted to bring up was not obvious until this year, 2022. Anyone who's thinking of saving up a lot of money or investing it and then stopping working their regular job, whatever that is, one of them is inflation. Because if you have a set amount of money that you have saved or put into some investments and you're now drawing that down or you're using that money, then what happens if inflation takes hold and suddenly all the money you've saved becomes worth less and you're not earning anymore? That's just one question I have. And then anyone who has invested in stocks, especially growth stocks and tech stocks, saw that their portfolios got hammered. So when you combine the effects of inflation and the collapse of the stock market, you have this 1-2 punch where all of a sudden this idea that you were going to be retiring out on a beach, relaxing and doing your thing, all of a sudden becomes, well, do I have to go back to work now? Was this retirement premature? What am I going to do? How long can this last? So again, that's one part of it, okay? And I just want to say at the outset, this is not advice. I have no way of knowing what is good for the people watching this video. Please don't think of this as me advising anybody on what they should do, but I am bringing up questions because I think any plan to retire early needs to come with some other kind of questions about how does this work? What will you do if you decide that you want to retire early? You'll have all this time. You'll have from when you wake up in the morning, say 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, whenever you get up, until when you decide to go to bed that night, and you're gonna be retired. Now, I imagine if you really love to, say, hike or take walks on the beach or travel to other countries, I think that that could be a lot of fun to do for several weeks, maybe for a month or two. But at some point, if you are retiring early and you're in your 30s or you're in your 40s, you've got a lot of time. And I think that having a life where you're just sort of wandering around, I would just feel like I was drifting, kind of floating without anything to tether me to or to kind of have as a focus for work where I could be producing or creating something or being of service to other people or teaching. So for me, I think the idea of just retiring, I just don't know what I would do. I also think that there's a myth of passive income. And you know, I see this in a lot of videos. I love watching YouTube videos, but you have a lot of people promising these streams of passive income through dividend investing or creating videos or creating digital products or books, and then just sitting back and sort of letting the cash come in. You know, you've all heard about multiple streams of income, etc. I don't believe that there's really a lot of passive income happening in the world where people are sitting back and being supported by influxes of cash. I think that any of these projects where you're creating videos, well, yeah, they could pay you money through AdSense or whatever, but you're always going to be having to create new videos. So even though you think this is passive income, there's a lot of time going into creating content. If you're making digital products like books, for example, you don't just make the book, you usually have to spend a lot of time promoting it, marketing it, letting other people know. So again, these passive income situations, I don't believe that there really is as much money coming in as people are promising that you can get. I think all forms of income in retirement are highly suspect, and it's not quite as easy as it might sound. Finally, work provides a lot of satisfaction. Not only are you usually working with other people, which makes it social, but in order to do a great job at anything, you need to be learning, you need to be growing, reading, and kind of coming up with solutions to problems. I mean, even if you're an investor, for example, you need to spend some time reading about different companies and learning about different industries and researching stocks. And that process requires you to think critically and often to talk with other people. And this process of learning and of sharing information helps your brain to stay alert and awake and to reinforce connections that I think help people to grow old and keep all of their mental faculties. If you look at Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, who run Berkshire Hathaway, it's pretty amazing when you consider, I believe Buffett might be 92 and Charlie Munger, I'm not sure, but he's probably 97, 98 years old. And both of them are as bright as ever. If you listen to them speak and watch any of the videos of their Berkshire Hathaway annual meetings, you'll quickly realize that they're as sharp now, maybe even sharper than they were 10, 20, 30 years ago. This is because their learning builds on itself and because they've kept their minds fresh and alive. And I believe there's no chance in hell that either Buffett nor Munger would ever have retired from their work. They simply love it too much, and you would have to fight them to keep them from going to work and doing what they love. Similarly, like Steve Jobs coming up with Apple and the iPhone. These are things that he loved that helped him to grow and become a better person and to create a device and a company that's thriving long after he's gone. And I think if you'd ever told Steve Jobs, like, hey Steve, would you ever think about just retiring early? He would probably laugh. I want to encourage people to find things that they love to do. And if you haven't found it yet, I don't think you should just give up and think you need to retire from work. I mean, I realize that not everybody who has a job loves their job, and that people are fortunate to have jobs that are creative. If you're a filmmaker, or if you're a photographer, or if you're a painter and you're able to support yourself through your art, through your designs, through your videos, through your photos, that's fantastic. But if you haven't found it yet, I don't think the solution is necessarily to retire from work. I just think the challenge for all of us is to find some way to apply ourselves and to use our brains, to use our creativity, to use our perception, to find ways that we can really bring something exciting and interesting and new to other people. And if you haven't found it yet, just keep searching for it. But I just want to encourage that kind of work and coming up with those kinds of ideas. And I believe that if you retire from this working, thinking, and learning, it's very easy, I think, to go along a path where you just sort of drift or wander, but don't grow. And I want to share with you a quote. I heard this from Jim Simons, and I believe it was somebody that he worked who came up with it. And it said, "Bad ideas is good. Good ideas is terrific. No ideas is terrible." And I've thought about that. I've let it stew for a while over the last few weeks, and it really makes a lot of sense. You know, to have a bad idea is good. At least you're marinating. At least you're thinking and you're working on it. To have good ideas is terrific, because like that's a plus. But to have no ideas, that's terrible. And I think if you throw in the towel on work, all of a sudden your brain isn't searching for new ideas. And I believe that a brain, just like a body that goes into disuse or sitting around, at some point, I think the brain will stop working at its fullest capacity. So take care of your brain. take care of your body. Enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I'm interested to know what you think about this, because maybe you're in this fire program. Maybe you have been retired for a while and your experience is totally different from what I've covered. So if that's the case, please write in the comments. I want to learn new stuff too. I'm real glad you stopped by to watch this video. If you're part of the fire movement or you're planning on doing the fire thing in the future, please let me know what you think about it. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, I do hope that you'll consider subscribing, hit the little button, and then the notification bell, and then you'll get a heads up whenever I make a new video. I'm so glad you stopped by, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.